President Trump. Get a life, man. Help these people.
Republicans and Democrats were at loggerheads over disaster funding and response.
With respect to North Carolina, they've let those people suffer unjustly.
Donald Trump slammed the Biden administration's disaster response, questioning whether it refused to provide help to red states.
People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations.
Vice President Kamala Harris, a Democratic presidential candidate, criticized Trump for trying to turn the deadly storm to his political advantage. Harris and Florida Governor DeSantis, a Republican, had a verbal altercation over the latter's refusal to answer the phone. On social media, allegations surrounding the hurricane are even more divisive, and rumors are persistent. Disaster funding is another battleground between the two parties. President Joe Biden visited the scene of the disaster, which some people questioned as a political show to cover up the government's inadequate response. Trump and Harris also changed their itinerary to visit the disaster areas of Georgia and North Carolina, both swing states, to assess the damage and promised to provide response support in an attempt to woo the public, gain more political capital, and win more chips for their race. Looking back at history, the U.S. has suffered from similar natural disasters many times, and after each, the reconstruction work is full of challenges and controversies. The government's financial investment, policy support, and coordination of all aspects have become the focus of attention. This time is no exception. On October 13, after inspecting areas hit by the hurricane in Florida, Biden announced that he would provide more than $600 million to help affected areas recover and rebuild. However, with decreasing funds and limited manpower, it is unclear whether these promises can be truly realized. Behind the disaster, the U.S. political arena is in chaos. Lives are shaken by the winds, and people are drowned by partisan rivalries. While the election result has been unveiled, the rebuilding of homes seems like a distant dream.
The main culprit, the cancer on the body politics, is money. Money, money, money.
In the 21st century, the cost of U.S. elections has risen with each cycle. American democracy elevates money above all else. Power comes from wealth and serves its interests. In the game of $1, one vote, only by understanding the rules of money can one see the true nature of American democracy. For politicians to win, they must secure abundant financial backing, often provided by wealthy individuals and corporations. In the long history of dark money in U.S. elections, the Supreme Court's decision in 2010 marked a turning point, freeing major donors from disclosure regulations and donation limits, allowing them to channel funds to political groups.
What that means is that a lot of long-standing, safeguards around money in politics were essentially thrown out the window.
Through hefty donations and behind-the-scenes influence, the wealthy steer policy directions, shifting what should be public-serving agendas toward capital interests. In 2024, over 14,000 Americans have died in gun-related violence. Yet, the U.S. government has failed to take effective measures to address the issue of gun control, largely due to the profit chain behind dark money. Organizations like the National Rifle Association, NRA, continuously lobby politicians injecting enormous funds into presidential elections and blocking gun control legislation. This conspiracy extends beyond gun control, pervading financial regulation, health care reform, and other critical areas, drowning out the voice of American citizens in public policy.
They're not listening to that pipe fitter, that farmer, that small businesswoman. They are listening to the person that can write them the $100,000 check.
The revolving door between government and the private sector has become an entrenched feature of America's power network. Whenever the presidency or party control changes, large numbers of former government officials move to high-paying executive roles in private companies. Conversely, when their party returns to power, many private sector leaders take government positions. In this money-driven political system, the line between U.S. government and private interest blurs, leading to institutionalized power exchange and influence trading. U.S. elections may seem vibrant on the surface, but there has been lots of churn underneath. The voice of the public is buried under the iceberg of intertwined money and power. This is the true nature of American democracy. House of Cards has a famous line, "Politics requires sacrifice." The sacrifice of others, of course. On Capitol Hill, the two parties fought, with relentless vetoes. The game of donkey versus elephant is intensifying. A real-life House of Cards is unfolding. Tensions between the Democratic and Republican parties have escalated in recent years. From cabinet appointments to Supreme Court nominations, from budget bills to tax policy, from immigration to climate change, the infighting over numerous issues has turned into an ongoing drama of passing the buck. The battle between the parties has spread throughout American society. The hasty withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan at the end of August 2021 resulted in chaos, with both parties blaming each other on Capitol Hill. Numerous fights continue over the debt ceiling and illegal immigration. Moreover, the Ukraine crisis and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have become bargaining chips in U.S. partisanship politics. Behind the vicious partisanship, the American people have fallen prey to power games. From the pandemic in 2020 to the hurricane in 2024, both parties are looking for political capital. In addition to enduring the harsh consequences of natural disasters, the people also suffer from the disaster relief politics, adding insult to injury. For a long time, the U.S. has regarded itself as a beacon of democracy, touting the multi-party electoral system as the essence of democratic politics, and using it as a benchmark to judge the degree of democracy in other countries. However, whoever comes to power, that person will be the face of the ruling elite, leaving ordinary people as mere spectators who struggle to obtain equal political participation. Two parties against each other, the government against Congress, and local governments against the federal government. For decades, the federal government has faced multiple shutdowns due to budget dispute between the two parties. During the Trump administration, the federal government shutdown reached a record high of 35 days. Now in the U.S., the identity of "I am an American" is increasingly being overshadowed by the partisan identity of "I am a Republican" and "I am a Democrat." More and more young Americans are worried about the future of American democracy, losing faith in politicians and political parties, and even the political system of the United States. American society finds itself trapped in a cocoon of vetocracy. Proximity to power deludes some into believing they wield it. Another line from House of Cards seems to foreshadow when the operation of the government, the welfare of the people, and even the development of the country become the chips in partisan games. This House of Cards will collapse as easily as grass sways in the wind.